Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering draft video. In today's video, I'll be discussing my current approach to drafting Innistrad Midnight Hunt. I'll go over some archetype overviews, a rough pick order, and how to read signals while navigating the draft. Let's get to it. This approach will of course evolve over the set's lifespan, but here's what I have so far. Innistrad Midnight Hunt Limited can be divided into two pillar archetypes, not unlike Strixhaven a couple of sets ago. These archetypes are blue-black zombies and white-based aggressive decks. These are both excellent places to start your draft as they sport a deep roster of powerful and synergistic commons and provide viable off-ramps into various sub-archetypes. Blue-black is currently the format's most consistent and powerful deck. It is advisable to draft it even when it's contested, similar to red-black in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. The deck's game plan is to generate a lot of decayed tokens and then to tap them or sacrifice them for various effects. Games will often be won by siege zombie triggers or by a big attack with all of your decayed tokens. Your opponents will often find themselves unable to attack you for fear of a big counterattack. The top uncommons for this archetype, in this order, are Morbid Opportunist, Scob Wrangler, and Infernal Grasp. The top commons for the archetype, roughly in this order, are Organ Hoarder, Diregraph Horde, Siege Zombie, Falcon Abomination, Eaten Alive, Revenge of the Drowned, Olivia's Midnight Ambush, Defenestrate, Ecstatic Awakener, Crawl from the Cellar, and Flip the Switch. If you find yourself with a lot of blue cards, but black is not available at the table, or vice versa, here are a few off-ramp archetypes you can pivot into. Blue-white Disturb aggro and black-white Sacrifice aggro. I'll discuss white in more detail a little bit later in the video. These two decks get to take advantage of white's deep roster of commons and uncommons, as well as some great multicolor uncommons in the form of Devoted Graphkeeper, Flesh Taker, and Rite of Oblivion. The blue-white deck is slightly more interested in cards like Bait Hook Angler and Shipwreck Sifters, where the black-white deck will value cards like Novice Occultist and especially Ecstatic Awakener more highly. Lunarch Veteran is especially good in both of these archetypes. Blue-green self-mill value. Look to mill your own Disturb and Flashback cards for extra value. Cards like Eccentric Farmer, Death Bonnet Sprout, Rise of the Ants, and Phantom Carriage perform particularly well in this archetype. You also get access to the excellent Root Coil Creeper. It may also be worth splashing Diregraph Rebirth if you have a few high-cost creatures to get back with it. This deck can struggle to get enough removal, so try to pick up Clear Shot if you can. Black-green zombies. If you have a lot of good black decay cards, you could support them with cards like Eccentric Farmer, Brood Weaver, and Hound Tamer, but this is not a great place to end up in. White-based aggressive decks are the other pillar archetype of the format. These decks take advantage of white's deep roster of aggressive commons and uncommons. Draft a low curve with lots of 2 and 3 cost cards, some 4s, and few to no 5s and 6s. White doesn't have a lot of built-in synergy, but the other colors synergize well with it in their own ways. The top uncommons for white aggressive decks in this order are Ambitious Farmhand, Odric's Outrider, Borrowed Time, and Gavany Dawnguard. The top commons, roughly in this order, are Search Party Captain, Lunarch Veteran, Gavany Silversmith, Candlegrove Witch, Gavany Trapper, and Homestead Courage. White, blue, and white, black, as discussed earlier, are the best of the white-based archetypes. If you're not seeing good blue or black cards in your draft, you can pivot into white-red or white-green. White-red is your typical low-curve aggressive deck. Red offers Moonrager Slash, Falconwrath Perforator, and Harvesttide Infiltrator as cheap aggressive commons. You also get access to Sacred Fire and Sunrise Cavalier as solid uncommons. A single copy of Abandon the Post can be quite good in this deck. White-green is another low-curve aggressive deck which leans heavily on white but does get some support from green, in particular from Harvest Tide Sentry, which is excellent in this deck. Dawnheart Wardens and Join the Dance are also solid uncommons. Don't worry about building towards Coven, it'll happen naturally, but make sure you think ahead and make decisions in-game to make sure you have it when you need it. This deck will struggle to pick up enough removal, so once again, Clear Shot is a priority. In terms of the other archetypes, I've not found red-green werewolves to be viable, as the creatures are too expensive on average, and almost all the common removal dunks on them. Red-black vampires can come together, but it is not supported well enough at common to be drafted consistently. And finally, red-blue is in a similar situation. The low power level of red's commons makes it difficult to put a good deck together draft in and draft out. Alright, let's talk about some draft navigation, beginning with our pivot colors. Since blue and black pair so well with white, and especially well together, any of these three colors is a great place to start your draft. They allow you to move between archetypes during the draft, depending on what is being passed to you. White is perhaps the most flexible of the three, as all of its color pairs are viable. I recommend avoiding red and green early on in the draft, as they lead to fewer viable archetypes. Here's my general pick order, starting with, of course, the rares. I would recommend taking only rares that fit well into blue-black zombies or white-based aggressive decks. I would avoid a card like Tolvar Dire Overlord, for example. I would happily first pick something like Ludovic Necrogenius, and I would consider taking something like Rem Carolus Stalwart Slayer. Next, we're looking for the best uncommons in the set. Again, we want to take uncommons that fit well into blue-black zombies or white aggro. The best uncommon in the set is Morbid Opportunist. Here are the rest, in no particular order. Ambitious Farmhand, Blade-Stitched Scab, Borrowed Time, Gavany Dawnguard, Infernal Grasp, Nebelgast Intruder, Odric's Outrider, Overwhelmed Archivist, and Scab Wrangler. Next, we're looking for the top commons in the set. Again, looking for cards that fit well in blue-black or white. The best common in the set is Organ Hoarder. Here are the rest, in no particular order. Diagraph Horde, Eaten Alive, Ecstatic Awakener, Falcon Abomination, Revenge of the Drowned, Search Party Captain, and Siege Zombie. From here, look for the key commons and uncommons as listed previously for the archetype that you're finding yourself in. Finally, let's talk some draft strategy. For picks 1 to 4, we're simply just taking the best card in the pack. In picks 5 through 8, we're still taking the best card in the pack, but we're starting to form a picture of what is being passed to us. This is known as reading signals. For example, if we see Diagraph Horde pick 5, and a few other good black cards picks 6 through 8, there's a good chance the players to our right are not drafting black. This is known as black being open. This means that we can reasonably expect to see good black cards in pack 3 as well, as those same players will be passing to us again. Picks 9 through 14 are the cards that no one at the table wanted the first time around. If we are seeing playable cards of one of the pivot colors, being blue, black, or white, it is possible that no one else at the table is drafting that color, and we should strongly consider moving in. By the end of pack 1, we have hopefully identified our main pivot color. Again, blue, black, or white. This is the color that we have the most quality cards of, or we have determined to be the most open, and hopefully both. We may have also identified an open secondary color. If so, great, we'll keep that in mind for pack 3. We are hoping not to be heavily invested in red or green this early in the draft. If we are, we'll be trying to take cards that will play well with white cards, as we will be trying to move into white in the later packs. In the case of green, we could also move into green-blue. In packs 2 and 3, we will likely be pivoting between 2 or more color pairs. We will continue to prioritize cards of our main color and let the cards we get past and or the synergies present in our pool push us towards our secondary color. We can decide on our secondary color as late as pack 3, especially if we're quite deep on our primary color. For example, let's say we have 5 good white cards, 2 good blue cards, and 2 good red cards by the end of pack 1. We've determined that white is open from our right. We are now pivoting between white-blue and white-red. We should continue to prioritize good white cards through packs 2 and 3. If we see a great blue or red card, or a white-blue or white-red signpost uncommon, we'll take it and let it push us towards drafting either white-blue or white-red. We'll also want to keep an eye on the synergies present in our card pool. If we have lots of really good disturb cards, we will want to prioritize blue a little bit more heavily, as red does not offer any disturb synergies. Finally, ignore pack 2 signals for the most part. The packs are moving in the opposite direction that they were in pack 1, and therefore the signals will be completely different and will not be a good source of information as to what to expect to see in pack 3. That's going to do it for this one. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please consider sharing it with somebody you know who might also benefit from it. Leave a comment if you'd like to say hello, if you have any questions, or if you have any feedback as to how we can make these videos better. Please click like and subscribe as well. It does help the channel a whole lot. And you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/howtodraftmtg. Good luck in your drafts, and we will see you on the next one.